What is up, sweatshirt season strangers?
Ooh, I like it.
Because it is cold
It is
here.
cold out.
I got yelled at for the first time officially yesterday walking into work without a jacket on, and one of the nurses coming out is like, put on a jacket.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't. Not until it's below 30.
Yeah.
I'm fine with short sleeves.
We've had some frost warnings.
Yeah.
There's still ticks out there, though. We just found a tick on Lucy yesterday,
Poor
which
Lucy
is
girl
not fun.
with the tick.
Oh, they give me the willies.
Yeah. They said it's really bad right now, but
Yeah.
now that we had another night of freezing, so maybe
I think we need like a really hard freeze.
Yeah.
But we have trails that Jim is cutting in our woods right now, so we're walking through the woods, and every time I'm like looking down at my feet and my legs, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm
not going to stay out of my woods because I love it.
I hate ticks. If you don't want to listen to us talk about ticks,
Oh, good call.
go.
Pause, check the show notes. Timestamp of the topic start will be listed. But you're going to miss a taste test and us babbling on about the weather.
Yep.
And who would want to skip through that?
Exactly. And at the end, there's going to be our last 3 trivia questions, all difficult, but I think fun.
And spooky related?
No,
Nope, they're just random.
they're a tribute to the KVSC trivia contest that I do.
The one that you do every year.
Yes.
Okay.
Shout outs. We had no new strangers, but we
rude.
want to give a special shout out to BDZ, although it's
Oh,
not BDZ
It's
anymore.
BDC now.
BDC to Brittany, used to be Brittany's on,
Yes.
is pregnant and having a
I
baby
can't even
girl.
believe it. I didn't know she was pregnant.
I know
so
you texted me last night. You're like,
Yeah.
Brittany's pregnant?
So exciting.
So
My gosh, she was a young teen when I first met her. You've known
She
her
was-
forever,
yeah,
but
she was just a.
her and Dev were young.
It's just weird. I can remember going to see her when she was a cheerleader, like 8th grade, when they did their routine to Yellow Card's Ocean Avenue song.
Oh,
And
wow.
it doesn't seem that long ago, but it kind of was.
When we were
You
meeting
know,
at Jen's Java
Yeah.
every week.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah. So
so fun.
congratulations, Brittany. We
yes,
love you.
congratulations.
But no, we didn't have any other strangers join. Housekeeping?
Wah, wah.
Housekeeping?
Yeah, you said you wanted to talk
Yeah.
about something.
So, next episode, people that are doing the trivia contest, you have 2 weeks from 1 hour ago to get your answers in. Your answers have to be in by 6 a.m. when we record the next episode, because at the end of the next episode, I'm going to answer all the questions.
Okay.
So I told you
So literally someone could send you their answers at 5:59
Yep.
and you're going to check them while you're sitting here? Okay.
Well, no, because I don't get here until 6:30.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah.
I doubt anybody's going to pull an all-nighter to answer them.
Probably not.
But I'm going to actually post the questions in the group tomorrow, just so you guys have more time to work on the questions and can see them.
Cool.
But we're going to do that
Cool.
next episode. I don't know how long that's going to take. There's 50 questions, but a couple of them will have a little factoid about. But so I told you, I think when I talked to you doing our side sessions or texted you that maybe we should each do a short mini mystery. Because
for the next episode?
Because the second
Okay.
half of the episode is going to be answering the trivia
I
questions.
should probably get on that.
No, but would you rather not do that? Or do you want one of us to do this? Or do you want both of us to skip that and talk about the haunted objects? Because I feel like we should talk about the Haunted Objects podcast, what they talked about, because it was really fascinating.
Yeah. I learned a lot.
I learned a lot too. So maybe one of us doesn't do a
So
story.
like about EVPs and
or about, especially about the stuff with the Spirit Box. I thought was
Yeah.
really interesting, and I'd like to talk about that.
Yeah.
So then maybe if you don't want to do a story,
Sure.
we can just talk about that. I'll do a story, like a really short mystery story. And then if you want to talk about the stuff that they talked about with the Spirit Box, we can do that.
Sure.
Because I feel like that would also be more conversational than,
Yeah.
because it was like a
Okay,
fascinating.
so my assignment is to rewatch all the stuff about the Spirit Box.
Sure.
Okay.
Just that last episode.
Oh, so the Estes method.
Yes.
Okay.
About the Estes method. But you can do the EVP one too. We'll talk about that
Sure.
too, because I thought that all 4 parts were like
So good.
super interesting and really, really well done.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to do a story and you want to just do that,
Sure.
that's fine. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we're Jim and I are on like episode 4, season 2 of Hellier, and so there's lots of Estes method stuff going on, which
but
is really interesting.
They just had a 4-part podcast
series
about spirit communication that was so
It was so
good.
good.
So you can do that in 2 weeks. Then you don't have to do a story. And
Okay.
I'll do the story that I'm thinking about doing.
Perfect.
But yep. Other than that, do we have any housekeeping? We got our last 3 trivia contest questions today.
Hi to Kayla.
Hi, Kayla.
We're having
we're
breakfast
having
with her after
breakfast with
this.
Kayla in a little bit.
Hi, Sherry. I'm coming to get wood from your house. Firewood from your
Sherry.
house later. My phone thinks I said hi to Siri. Sorry, Siri. I'm talking to Sherry.
Hi, Sherry. Thank you again. Now
Oh.
my iPhone.
Oop.
Now we got all our
It's chaos down
iPhones.
here.
Our iPhones are all chatting to each other. Now watch them start talking to each other.
Okay. I'm going to
but-
burn my iPhone.
I was going to say, too, like, we'll get into this more when we talk about the Estes method stuff that they talked about on haunted objects.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird to me that we've never done an episode on ESP or psychic stuff.
Really?
Not really.
Okay.
And it's weird. Like, I do think that I have psychic stuff, but I don't want to deal with it because so much of that involves
Opening yourself
up, going into a trance and stuff.
Yeah.
But this is kind of spoilers for next episode. But with the stuff that they were talking about with the spirit box and the Estes method, like, maybe I'm good at that. So, it's just weird to me that we've never done an episode just about ESP and psychic stuff.
I think because just in general, you and I, at least I have always been very skeptical of that.
Yeah. I'm not, because I've had stuff happen.
I believe it exists.
Yeah.
And I know what I experience in ways that could be,
Yeah.
I don't know. But I also don't want to be one of those people that's like, I'm psychic.
Yeah.
Because everybody around you is like,
Yeah. Exactly.
It's one of those things that you just, I don't know, you just have to either really trust somebody. Like, I trust you 100%.
Oh, yeah.
obviously.
Same with you.
I'm there for those things.
Yeah.
I've seen the things.
And,
but
and that's why I wanted to do the ghost hunting, was because I wanted, you don't know what you can trust that's on TV,
Yeah.
so I wanted us to actually get stuff, and we have.
yeah.
So it's super interesting.
Well, and it's what's also interesting about that conversation, and we'll go more into it in that episode.
And when we do that episode, Jennifer sent me EVPs that she got on
Oh, yeah,
an
we'll listen to
investigation.
those.
And Jennifer, if you want me to play those in the next episode, I will. Let me know if you want me to play those or you just wanted me to listen to them.
Yeah.
Because we'll talk a little bit about EVP too.
But what I was
next
going to say
episode.
is I know there are psychics who participate in paranormal investigations,
Yeah.
but I've never really looked at spirit communication through devices
Yeah.
from a psychic lens, which
Yeah.
is interesting and which I appreciate Greg and Dana kind of delving
Yeah.
into, because
Yep.
it makes you think about things a little bit different.
Yeah, but we'll talk about all
Or
that.
that you might be
next
talking to
episode.
aliens instead of
Yeah.
ghosts.
Yep. Yeah, so
very
I
cool.
figured that would be a good topic for us to talk about next episode.
Cool.
Any other housekeeping?
I don't think so. Halloween is just
Right
around the corner.
Yep.
Very exciting.
Did you message the waiter to prepare our?
Should I do that now?
Yeah,
Yeah, Jim is our waiter, and he's going to
And
warm up our taste test.
I've had this taste test, but I literally remember.
I have not.
I remember nothing about it, so
Oh, okay.
I just don't remember liking it or disliking it. I remember eating it, and I'm like, oh. So I'm curious to try it again. I can't. I think Corey or Aaron bought one for me.
Okay, well, this is from Jeff Verhulst.
Yay!
I believe he bought it. I don't know why he bought it. I don't think it was like for anything special. His daughter wanted to try it or something,
Yeah.
Quinn, and I don't think she was impressed.
I don't think
And I think he said he tried it, and he was like, it's
that's exactly
kinda
how I was too,
underwhelming.
because I can't remember anything about it. I don't remember what it tastes like.
I like ramen.
I remember.
almost never eat it, but I like
I eat
ramen.
ramen way more than I should.
And we're talking about instant ramen. We're not talking about fancy restaurants where you get authentic ramen. Although they have those in
No,
the area
Corey,
now.
whenever Corey and Nicole go up to Costco, they have in the frozen section a box of 6 frozen ramen bowls.
Okay.
And he buys them for me. I love those so much. They're so good. They're
I've never
big
had a
chunks,
frozen
big
ramen.
chunks of chicken in there.
Ooh.
Yeah, you
That's
put
a step up from the
you put water
packaged-
into the fill line, and then you microwave it for 4 to
Okay.
5 minutes. And then when you bring it out, you stir it, because like the ramen-y sauce is like underneath it. So when you
Okay.
stir it, it's really good.
Well, this is too. You add water to it and
Yeah.
you microwave it for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So
But the frozen ramen is a step up from that.
hope he's paying attention and has his phone. I don't hear the microwave or anybody moving up there. He's not getting a tip.
No tip from us. trying to think if we have.
Oh,
I
hear movement. We could do a bean bamboozle while we wait.
Oh, we could. I always get the clunker.
You do. Should we do it? You go
Sure.
first.
We are going to do. Oh, then I hit my finger with the arrow. We are going to do. Come on.
There you go. Ooh, that was a good one.
That was a good spin.
Shaking up the beans.
Strawberry banana smoothie or dead fish?
Oh, no. It's going to be so bad.
Yeah, the dead fish one is bad.
So it's. Wait. Oh, there we go. So it's like.
Pink with like speckles.
Oh, there's. You know what I don't like is there's another one that the peach one looks very similar
Yeah.
to that. I think. No, I don't
I
think
just
that's
don't want to
it.
do the dead fish.
Shoot, what is it? Strawberry? I don't actually know which one that is. Which one do you think it is? Look at the picture. There's too many similar ones.
I think it's going to be this, like the pink.
It's very peachy colored.
Well,
though.
either way.
Is it look like this?
Yes.
Is that what you
Yep.
have?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. I'm a little scared. Yeah, that's definitely what I have. Hopefully you have the same one. Oh, I heard the microwave.
Ready?
Oh, I got dead fish. Oh.
Oh, I got it. Oh, I got it too.
No. Down everything to drink.
Oh.
Oh my god. Oh, it's
I couldn't
so
tell. I
bad.
couldn't tell at first, and all of a sudden the
It's
fish
so
fish
bad.
flavor kicked in.
Oh my god. Oh.
And I'd give you a sip of this, but I think I might
Yeah,
be
I
getting
don't
a cold.
want whatever you have.
Oh.
Oh my god. Oh, get out of my mouth.
Is that the first time we both got the clunker?
Oh yeah, I think so. Oh my god. Oh, that is
okay.
like the worst.
Being able to swallow it with the
Oh.
coffee made it a little bit
I got
better.
nothing.
Yeah.
It's just lingering. It's stuck in my teeth.
What's funny because at first,
my
the
God.
first couple seconds,
took
I'm
us
like,
both a second.
I couldn't tell. Then all of a sudden, the fish flavor kicked in, and then it was like,
How do they do that?
I don't know, but it tastes exactly like rotten
Oh
fish.
my god. Not that I've ever tasted rotten fish, but that's how it smells.
Yeah,
They have a really good way of taking how something smells
and making
and
it.
putting it into a flavor.
Yeah,
He said I heard something. I'm like, bring me a bubbly. I had a bad jelly bean.
did he hear us going? Oh,
Yeah. Oh, that was horrible. Oh, he said he'd like to be on another episode.
Who?
Jim.
He can come on whenever he wants.
I know, that's what I said.
But I'd like him to let us know what to talk about because I want to do something that he's interested in.
Well, I told him, can you text me the rest of the season?
Yeah.
And then I said next season I think will be mapped out as well, like every episode, because
Pretty
they're going to
much.
be like listener suggestions.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'll just give you the list and you just pick what you want to sit down with us
Yeah.
on. So
Yep.
this smells. I'm getting a play-by-play of
him cooking
pickled
her ramen.
ramen. Oh, it's better. Now I just have kind of a sweet aftertaste.
Yeah,
but,
there's like a
oh.
weird, like this sweet aftertaste
Oh.
is actually kind of good.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's just
But
like jelly bean.
Yeah, the dead fish.
Oh, we got bamboozled.
It was just funny that both of us are like, oh, we
got
couldn't tell.
bean-boozled.
Like it took a little while.
Yeah.
For the funk to settle in.
Oh, that's bad.
All
Did I
right.
tell you I found the colored hats finally?
No, Amy Orheim wants one.
Oh, well, she can just go to the Kofi website and order it.
Well, I told her I'd get it for her, but I got to see what color she
Oh,
wants.
yeah. So sorry. Oh, what is his name? I forgot the name of the guy who ordered. I think he ordered I forgot what color it was, but I couldn't
Yeah.
find them because we had just moved. So I just sent him a black one at a discount.
So what colors do we have?
They're in the cabinet right
Okay.
there.
Remind me to snap a picture.
I think
then
there's
I'll-
like a light blue. I can kind of see a red from here.
Yeah. So
They're on
Amy,
the Kofi website too.
Amy, I will get you one.
Boy, the service here sucks.
Yeah, this is. They'll hire anybody at this place.
Oh, I cracked myself up. Probably nobody else, but I'm laughing, so that's all that matters.
We got one more
Poor
season left.
Jim.
We got one more season left at this point, so
Yeah.
whatever. Oh, what? Like I like the idea of us
diving into a case.
diving into something.
Yeah, Kurt and I are already like, what can we do after the podcast is over?
Like Hellier, like
Yeah.
with their where we find something that we can not necessarily do a documentary, but I'd be cool.
go
with doing
down the rabbit
I'd
hole.
be cool with doing a documentary.
Me too, but it's
that's-
like, who's
that's
going to
where-
do all the camera work then?
Yeah, well,
We're
Jim-
not
Jim,
cinematographers.
Be our cook and cameraman.
Well, if his camera works anything like his
Like his
service.
but that's why I wish Elsing's secondhand shop
Yeah.
was still around, because that
Something
would be
like that where you could really do a
that we
dive
could do
into
a
the
perfect
history.
deep dive.
and-
We'd be able. I wish we could have done the Estes method there.
Oh my God, yes.
You know, that would have been
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, we talked about doing an entire like long investigation, like, and then when it's all said and done,
Releasing a
going through all the evidence
Yeah.
little by little, and that's the episodes is us going through all the evidence.
One thing that I really do, there's a couple topics that I do really want to dive into when we're done with the podcast, technically, or whatever, you know, when we're done with the regular schedule, like the Bet Sphere, I want to dive back
Oh,
into
that's a good idea.
hardcore.
Yeah.
The Trenny Gibson stuff, I would like to dive into hardcore. Like the stuff that I'm super interested in. You know, I'd love to do.
See, guys, Kurt and I are already like, what can we do when we're not doing this
Yeah,
podcast
so
anymore?
We'll be around. We just don't know what we'll
And there
be
was
doing.
a time when we were gonna do a
Found footage.
found footage film
here comes
as
our-
well.
Here comes our
Man,
server.
The service here sucks. That took forever. Just kidding. Oh, he even separated. Okay, never
Thank
mind.
you,
I take that
Jim.
back. You're the best.
Thank you.
He even separated it into two bowls for us.
You are the best.
Okay, let me take a picture of that. Okay, the service here is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm done
We'll leave
complaining
him a
about
good
the
tip.
service. Yeah, I'll tip you later.
Oh boy, I won't.
All right.
I can smell it.
I can't. I can still
No.
taste that fish in my mouth just a little bit. Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's very dilly.
Oh yeah. What did we just have that was dill and it was like really strong actually? I can't remember now.
I don't remember.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Oh, that's hot. Wait, you might want it to cool
I
off a
gotta
little
do
bit.
the twirl and blow on it a little bit. Oh, now it really smells dilly.
It's gonna be hot.
Okay, I'm ready. Oof, yeah, it's hot. I actually think it tastes really pickly.
It's yeah,
I taste it.
yeah. I don't know if he did something different because
Did he pour pickle juice in here?
I don't know. It's not bad.
Is it the same brand?
Yeah, it's the same one I had. It's not bad, but
I'm
it's
not going out of my way to order it.
like it's not memorable. It's like, oh, ramen noodles that taste like pickles, and it's not.
There is something a little overpowering about the.
The dill.
It's not balanced. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like there needs to be something else in there to balance out. Like I'm not.
That's
gonna,
what somebody.
I'm
else,
gonna eat
I-
this whole thing.
I remember on Reddit somebody said the same thing. It's like lacking something, and they
needs
couldn't. They
something.
couldn't figure out what it was.
Yeah.
That it was lacking.
I don't.
It's
weird.
good.
Uh-huh.
I'd give it a. I'd give it a. I'd give it an 8. Not my favorite, but they it's very much pickle flavored ramen.
Yeah. It just there's something. I would give it. Oh, this is gonna be a very spicy bite. Normally we're crunching. Now we're slurping.
Now we're slurping. But it's polite to slurp
I'm gonna
ramen.
give it like. Oh yeah, that's the thing with ramen. You're supposed to slurp it, aren't you?
Oh, I love ramen noodles. I just
And
do.
I like it like this without the broth in it.
Oh, I like the broth.
When we were kids, we would always just like take the. We would never have it brothy.
Seriously?
It would just be noodles. Yeah.
The broth is like the best part.
I'm giving it like a 6.
6.
Yeah.
Harsh.
I would rather have just like chicken flavor rather than this.
Oh yeah.
I love the texture of ramen noodles
Oh.
though. Oh, so satisfying.
If I had chicken or this, it would always be chicken. Any of the beef, the soy. Oh my god. Yeah, this is good. I love ramen noodles too.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is,
Well,
but
good thing because we're not having breakfast for a while.
yeah. And I had my McGriddle on the way here.
I thought you weren't going to.
I thought I wasn't going to either, but I did.
Honestly, I had a small piece of toast too.
I'm,
'Cause I
I'm
can't
really
wait
hungry
that
when we
long.
go with Kayla for like a skillet, like a omelet or a skillet.
Yeah,
Probably an omelet, like a ham and cheese omelet.
they have really good omelets there. That was so good.
This is good. But it's just, like you said, it's just missing.
And I can't identify what it is.
I can't either. But what could you really else have with pickle?
Ketchup. Just kidding.
Ew.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
My compliments to the chef.
Yeah. Good job, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Sorry I badmouthed you.
Make sure you tip him later.
He's turning 50 in a couple days. Everyone, 50.
Yep. I told him that's
Wow.
when stuff started going to hell on me. Are we ready to jump into this
I
bad
think
boy?
we're ready, yeah. Oh, am I starting, aren't I? Or
Yep.
am I or not?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is Halloween coming up this week. Halloween night, Rhonda and I will be at the rave to see Blue October.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Wow, on Halloween. So Friday? Nice.
Except I work Saturday, so that's going to be
Oh,
rough.
well, that blows.
That's going to be rough. But we decided just to do some spooky Reddit stories from the internet. One that a listener sent me that I don't remember if we did already. So, and my whole first section after Krista reads hers, I don't remember if I talked about these already. So I might have. It's a
Well,
series.
Probably wouldn't be the first time we
It's a
repeated
series
something.
of them about a specific thing people have seen. And I don't remember, and it's always been in my stories to use folder.
Okay.
And I'm just doing them again now, so I'm gonna be done with it. So if you did hear them already, well, you're gonna hear them again. So I gave Krista some that I'm like, yep, this is a Krista story. I'm like, yep, this is a Krista story. I'm like, yep, this is a Krista story.
Yeah, I read through the first like 4 or 5, and I was like noping all of them. And these are all from Reddit.
Most are from Reddit.
Okay.
A couple like forums, like
I know
dedicated.
some people have poo-pooed on that, but also I
Yeah.
have seen some YouTube podcast series
Oh, yeah.
that get hundreds of thousands of views, and it's 100% Reddit stories.
Yeah,
So,
and the thing is, like, a lot of times I'll look at the person's
we
posting
go.
history to see if they look like trustworthy.
Oh, sure.
But now Reddit made it that you can hide your previous posting history, so now it's a little more difficult. But these are all from like
you know what? We take a leap of faith anytime anyone sends us a story either. We
exactly,
can't validate anyone's
exactly.
stories. So
and hey, it's Halloween.
This is
spooky,
entertainment.
spooky stories are fun.
even if they're not real, and I'm going to pretend they are because that creeps me out.
So yeah, I love that. I know which ones to send you. Then I'm like, oh, this one's for Krista.
Are we ready?
I am ready.
Okay. Me.
Me.
Okay. My childhood friend was about 15 and home alone over a long weekend while his parents were traveling. But on Saturday night around 7 to 8 p.m., he was in his bedroom upstairs. I hate this story, actually. When he suddenly heard his mom call up the stairs to come get dinner. He popped his head out of his room, confused as F, because no one was there. So he called back down, "Mom, are you home already?" There was a long beat, but then after a few seconds, his mom walked slowly around the corner, coming from where the kitchen was, and looked straight up at him from the bottom of the steps. She just smiled and then walked right back into the kitchen. My friend was frozen in place for a moment, but then again, he heard her call him to come get dinner. He said the only reason he didn't just walk down those stairs to see WTF was going on and why she was home so early was because he thought it was strange that she didn't talk or utter a single word when she appeared. Like, why did she just smile at him and then walk away? That just didn't sit right. The fact he never saw her open her mouth. He could hear her and he could see her both plain as day, but never at the same time. And that smallest of details is why he chose instead to slam his door shut, lock it, and call his mom. She answered immediately and was still several states over, hundreds of miles away. I'm literally dying inside.
That's a nope. That's a nope. Yeah,
I
there's
mean, the whole doppelganger mimic
Yeah.
thing is so spooky to me.
But then it always bugs me. Like, what if he would have went down there? What
Yes.
would have happened? Because
I
you
know.
never hear
Well, no,
stories
'cause those
about that.
people don't
Those
live to
are
tell their
gone.
stories.
Yeah, those people disappear. But
They ended up calling the police for fear of an intruder or something, but they never found anyone in the house. It was all locked up with the security system on and everything. He did not sleep there alone anymore after that.
I feel like there's so many more mimic stories these days than there used to be. So is that an example of people hearing them, thinking they're creepy and making up stories,
Sure.
or is it like
Or
a
coming
tulpa
forward.
thing where
They
people
feel
are
s-
creating
yeah.
mimics to come into real life.
Or someone sees that it happened to someone else and they're like, okay, I feel a little safer telling
Yeah.
my story. I'm not
Yeah.
crazy.
This week, I almost texted you one day from work because there was one day where multiple times I heard somebody say my name when there was nobody around. Like somebody yell Kurt, and I look and there's nobody around. I
That's
looked in
weird.
all the residents' rooms. They're all watching TV. So I almost texted you that day because I was getting kind of creeped out a little bit.
That gives me the shivers.
Yeah.
Speaking of this next story, I worked at a nursing home for 6
Yes.
years.
Yeah.
We had a lot of creepy stuff happen. I think the worst one for me was this little lady with dementia. She was seriously, quote, gone minute to minute. And she would just moan and cry these long, drawn out, help, help me, help me, help, over and over. It wasn't screaming, but it was loud, this sad calling. My dad's mom had Alzheimer's too.
Yeah.
And I never knew her, but I remember going to see her in the nursing home and she was like that, just
Yeah.
oblivious and very distraught all the time, like strapped to a bed. Like it was so sad.
We have people like that in our nursing home.
Oh,
that
it's heartbreaking. Thank
I
God
don't
my
remember
dad
if I
was
told
never
the
like
story
that.
on
But
here, and I think I can because I'm not saying the person's name, and it's not like a breach of, of confidence. But a resident that has those issues, always help me,
Yeah.
and then one day I went over and I'm like, "What can I help you with?" And she said, "You can mind your own damn business." And the nurses all just started laughing,
my
and I'm like,
God.
"Well, I tried."
yeah.
But like I loved her anyway.
Yeah. People with Alzheimer's will just say and do things that are so out of
Yes.
character and you just can't take any of it personally.
No, you can't.
Okay, it didn't matter what you did. You could go and sit with her for an hour playing Uno or talking about her kids. As soon as you left, she'd think she'd been alone for that entire time and the calls for help would start again. That's so heartbreaking. To combat it, we'd try to keep her out in a common area or next to the nurse's desk, but at night when we're trying to get her to sleep, it's important to keep her in her room. So one night, 11-ish, it's me and one other person, and we're just generally waiting for call lights to go off. Everyone is asleep or hanging out quietly in their rooms. The cries for help me start up and I head to her room. She's sitting straight up in bed and calling for help because she's been alone so long. You have to help me, you just have to. Honestly, at this point, it was pretty routine, although creepy to hear sometimes. So I calm her down and promise that I'm just outside her door and that she should try to sleep. She lays down and closes her eyes, so I head back to the nurse's station. At this point, I just want to interject that someone needs to be at the station at all times in case call lights go on. I didn't want to leave my partner alone too long in case someone called and she needed to tag team. Sure enough, I'm back at the station for maybe 10 minutes, and when the calls start happening again, anyone help me, please help me. I head back to her room and repeat the process of calming her down and telling her she should try to get some sleep, and head back to the nurse's station when she's settled into her bed with her eyes closed. Another short time goes by and the calls go up again. I head back to her room and I'm ready to soothe her with the usual routine when she grabs my arm and pulls me close. Quote, every time you leave the room, he comes back.
That's so creepy.
I got the chills. Now this woman who usually forgets who I am, even if she's seen me in the past 5 minutes. The creepy dialogue plus the fact that she knew I'd been there before absolutely sent a chill down my spine. I ask her who comes when I leave, and she kept pointing towards a mirror above her little dresser. He comes back and smiles at me, but it's not the nice kind of smile. Needless to say, I packed her up and we had a little pajama party at the nurse's station that night.
That's so creepy. Like mirrors, smiling. No.
Yeah, no.
Those are
Nope.
a lot of nopes.
Whew.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know if I'm cold or creeped out. Probably a little bit of both. Okay, next story. I was camping with my husband and his family at a small remote lake in New Mexico. There were about 10 people in our group and another group of 6 people in the next campsite. It was nighttime and both groups were doing typical activities, making s'mores, having a few drinks, and telling stories, when we all heard what sounded like a little girl yelling out for help. Neither group had children with them, but we were all positive we were hearing a little girl and decided to search the area we heard the noises from together. There was a field behind our campsites, and we all saw a very tall, pure white figure standing maybe 100 feet away from us in the field, making the noises. We all agreed this thing looked maybe 6 feet tall, skinny and white as can be. We made our way closer to investigate, but whatever it was that we saw started backing off as we got closer, and it disappeared into the trees.
That's so creepy to me.
All night long, like it wanted them
Yeah.
to follow it.
Yeah.
All night long, we continued to hear a little girl calling for help as we tried to sleep.
That's so creepy.
Whoa.
That's like that one story with where they saw the family at the edge of the woods, like beckoning them to come.
Yeah.
And then the family was like inside the whole time.
Yep.
Is that it for your stories for
Yep,
the first
for now.
round? Okay. So this is from Stranger Natasha. I don't know if we already did this one, but
Okay.
I'm just doing it in case we didn't. So she writes, Dear Kurt and Krista, I missed the date to submit my questions to you. This is actually from like last October or December. I
Like last year. Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
I missed the date to submit my questions to you and kicked myself when I listened to the episode.
Oh,
Hope
don't
you-
worry. We'll get to it eventually.
Yeah,
a year
it might
later.
be a year later. Hope you can still fit it in somewhere and looking forward to listening to the Christmas episode. I need to get my Strange fix. I just wanted to say I love the show and listening to you two chat even about absolute nonsense, which is 99% of our actual podcast.
Yep.
I like when you read Reddit stories.
Oh,
It's cool and I don't
good.
have time to go and read them myself, so you accompany me every day on my trip to work and back.
Aw.
So I don't watch the videos. Sorry. 100% understand.
Well, nobody does now.
Nope. You take my mind off of work and the long drive home and even just as background noise while thinking of other things. I think we can be described very well as background noise.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
I don't remember exactly how I came to find you, but while I was working from home in 2020, I was watching some local true crime documentaries and I think unsolved mysteries and then went down the rabbit hole. I remember watching a show on YouTube about Elisa Lamb and just thinking, what? Somehow from there, I found your podcast and had some catching up to do on a few seasons, which was cool. Now I have to wait for a new episode. Hee hee. And I really like this because this happens to me all the time, still on a constant basis. I wanted to share a strange, what I think is a synchronicity with you. I am a laboratory manager and was busy emailing a supplier to order a chemical we use in the lab. While I work, I like to have a show on in the background, so I kind of watch, kind of listen. This day, I was, quote, watching the TV show Monk, and then she writes, don't judge. Monk is a good show.
I've never watched it,
Oh,
but
God, when
I
I
know
was
a lot of
dating
people like
Natalie,
it.
Natalie just loved that show, and it's a good show. It really is. And he's from Green Bay.
Oh,
Tony Shalhoub.
I think I knew that.
Yeah. As I was typing out the name of the chemical, perchloroethylene, at that exact moment, Monk said the suspect was killed with perchloroethylene. What are the odds of that?
Yeah, that's
Seriously.
very crazy.
If I had watched it any other time, I would be like, cool, we use that and I know what it is.
Yeah.
But the fact that it happened while I was typing it at the same exact time he said it was quite creepy, and I just sat there for a few minutes and I, of course, thought of you.
Like such a wild,
And that
specific
happens.
word.
That still happens to me when I'm doing research for the episodes, and I type a word, and the person on the news says the word as I'm typing it, and it's not like a the or a from.
Yeah.
It's like a specific word that you don't use a lot, and that still happens to me. And I do exactly what she said. I look up, and I'm like, what?
That's funny.
You know, so that's so cool. I know I also missed the question episode, I know I missed the question episode, so please fit this in where you can. I want to know what you think of Stranger Things. I love it.
Oh.
Yes, there are some plot gaps, but overall, I love the story, the 80s nostalgia, and ties in with some of the topics you guys have covered. Don't think I could bear it if you said it was nonsense. I can wait for the new season to come out, but also feel it could have ended in season 4. I only watched the first 2 seasons.
Oh, really?
I
I
think.
watched
I
all of them.
want them to chat and say what they each did in the last episode to make Eleven's plan not work. Because I'm not up on it. Do you like Stranger
I
Things?
do. I watch it.
And I talked
And
about
the
it on here.
final
I said,
season is coming.
I said the scene where, what's her name, Max, where they put
The
the
redhead.
headphones on her with
Kate
Bush. Like
Bush.
that's one of
Yeah.
the best film TV scenes
Mm-hmm.
sequences I think I've ever seen. And then she says, do you guys like American Horror Story? It's a bit more on the far-fetched side, but I like it. I love The Witches, the one based on the Cecil Hotel, the 80s youngsters volunteering for summer camp, just ghost and creepiness. I have not watched season 11 and 12 yet and didn't like season 10 too much. I like the repeating cast from the first, especially Evan Peters. I like everybody likes Evan Peters. I have attached the list of the episodes. There's a spin-off called American Horror Stories, which I'd never seen the spin-off. I've only started watching the first few and a bit more hectic than normal seasons. They are just one-off stories per episode, and that's a bit off. They made one related to missing 411 and came up with a theory, if you can call it that, which is a bit hectic. I moved from South Africa to New Zealand with my husband and daughter in February 2024. And yes, I do feel this place used to be somewhere else on the map.
Wow.
And that's what started me down the road
Love
of
it.
Mandela. Keep up the great work and stay strange, from Natasha. I loved the seasons of American Horror Story that I watched, but I especially loved the seasons with the witches, like Coven. Like, I loved those.
That one was in New Orleans,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I watched like the first two, and somewhere did it get kind of gory? Oh, there was wasn't there
it's-
like a circus season?
Yeah. Yeah.
That season is what kind of threw me off.
It
of
was okay, but the Coven the seasons with the group of witches is really good. Like, I love those.
I tried it and I didn't finish
I
that one.
really liked the 80s summer camp.
I didn't watch that one. I bet I would like that one.
Yeah, Rhonda surprisingly didn't like that one. So she stopped watching it. And I loved it just because they, a lot of times they do like not a twist ending, but they end in a certain way. And everybody's like, how's this? Like, everybody said, and this is kind of a spoiler, but it's not a super spoiler, but that season ended, everybody said, in the most unexpected way that the show could end a season. It actually had a happy ending, which it usually
Yeah.
doesn't. But
Yeah.
I loved the ending to the summer camp. It was weird. Richard Ramirez in there.
Oh.
Yeah, it was weird, but I really, really liked that episode. Or, I mean, that season of the show.
I think
but
I
I didn't
only-
watch anything really after that.
Yeah, I definitely watched the first two seasons start to finish. I couldn't get into the circus one. I kind of got partway into the witch one, and I don't know, something about it. Like, I don't have much tolerance for like gory or torture or anything like that.
Yeah.
I feel like for some reason in my head, I'm like, I have to watch the series in order, and you don't have to. I'm sure you can jump around and just watch
Yeah.
whatever seasons you want to.
Yeah.
I should check out the summer camp one.
You should, because I really liked it.
Yeah. I think it's great acting.
Yeah.
I love the cast.
Yeah.
Stranger Things, yeah, I'm a fan. I've watched it. It is also one of those things where I'm like, do I always know really what's going on? No, probably not. It can be a little complex. There's
Yeah.
a lot of storylines going on, and it's obviously like it's out there for sure. It's called Stranger Things, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love the aesthetic of it. I love shows that surround that focus on like kids' perspective of
Yes.
stuff. Like,
Did
I
you
don't know,
watch
for
The
some reason.
Institute based on Stephen King's book? You would like that.
No, because I don't have access to it.
Yeah.
I don't.
I really like
it's
the book.
on something that we
Yep.
don't pay for.
Yeah. That's so stupid. I hate that. That's a thing.
I know. I really want to watch it though. Yeah, I'm excited. So this is the final season, the series finale of Stranger Things
Yep.
this year. So
Yep.
I will
Well, they're
definitely
all,
be
like,
watching
40
all of
years
that.
old now, so it kind of
Yeah, no kidding. They're not
thanks-
kids anymore.
Thanks for sending that, Natasha. Sorry
Yeah.
it took us a year to get to read it. So this is what I don't remember if I talked about, because I know I talked about static people, like
Yes.
static figures. So does this sound familiar to you? Somebody writes, I saw a shadow person once. I didn't know that's what it was called until much later. I was living at a house in Laguna Beach that had been there since the 1920s. In its history, it had been a speakeasy, a brothel, and a house for smuggling illegal immigrants. One day, my new wife and I were having an argument. I can't even remember what it was about. She walked down the block to get a cup of coffee and cool off, and I was alone in the house. The way the place was built was incredibly haphazard. There was a bedroom and living room on one side, and then a bathroom with two entrances. On the other side of the bathroom was a hallway that had windows in one side and two bedrooms on the other. From my bedroom, I could look across the hall into the bathroom, then through the bathroom and down the other hall. I was standing at my dresser,
I'm all turned around.
and I noticed, yeah, me too. And I noticed movement out of the corner of my eye and looked down there. There was, and honest to God, this gives me goosebumps just typing it in now, 17 years later, a black figure. It was maybe 3 feet tall, and it was only vaguely humanoid. It looked just like black scribbles, like someone had scribbled a human shape, but the scribbles moved, like electricity arcing. That's the best way to describe it. There was no sound that I could remember. I distinctly remember when I saw it, I wasn't afraid. I was just like, WTF. Then it noticed me looking at it. I can't say it turned around. It just focused on me, I guess. Then I was scared. I didn't move, didn't scream, nothing. I was just frozen, and then it just came rushing at me down the hallway. I have no idea what it intended, but as soon as it entered the bathroom, the door closest to me just slammed shut on it. Then I screamed. I yelled for my wife, but she wasn't home. I went outside into the daylight, didn't go back until she got home about 10 minutes later. I don't believe in ghosts, but I believe that I saw something supernatural. I know I saw something. I don't know what it was.
I don't know. It sounds familiar-ish,
So
but it's just
this-
because we
this
covered
is
something
about-
like that.
This is like kind of like the static people, but this is scribble people.
Okay.
And this was a thing too. So somebody replied to that and said, so I have a similar description with a different outcome. I was trying to sleep in my room back when I was younger and lived with my folks. I must have been maybe 17 or 18. I open my eyes while rolling over to get comfortable, and I see a black figure just outside my door who I thought was my stepfather in the dark, with his hands up to his chest, making scary finger motions at me, just like you might do sarcastically after a scary story, or a witch might do when casting a spell. Just moving fingers wildly in my direction. It's so weird.
Which is like funny when you think about
is.
it
It
until the
is.
context of this
Yeah,
story.
Yeah, until some figure doing that in your hallway in the
That's
middle
not
of the
supposed
night.
to be there.
I should note that this figure had no defined shape. It just looked like squiggles that moved in a vague shape, and I chalked it up to the lack of light and my stepfather. I look over and I say, "What the hell are you doing?" thinking it was a really stupid, creepy thing to do at night. In that moment, it just vanished. It was just gone. At that moment, my heart sank and I became petrified with fear. One of the few moments I was literally scared out of my mind and I couldn't comprehend what I just saw. So that one's weird. Somebody else writes, when I was about 7, my bed in my bedroom was against the same wall as the doorway. So, sleeping on my side, if I faced the door, I could see the door open against the wall, although not the doorway itself, you know? Like, I don't know. So one morning I woke up this way. I wasn't having any particular kind of weird dreams or anything like that. And the first thing I saw upon opening my eyes was this hunched over, featureless, scribbly looking short person thing that just darted out of my room. It went so fast, but it was definitely there. And its feet didn't really seem to touch the ground. I noticed its height. It was hunched over, but almost didn't even come up to my doorknob, which was probably around 3 feet off the ground. It seemed to turn the corner and go into the room at the end of the hall, not making a sound. Confused and thinking it might have been my dad messing with me or something, I actually jumped right out of bed and tried to follow it into the next room, but surprise, nothing was there. Both my parents were downstairs. The other time I saw something like this, I was tripping on mushrooms. So right there you go. About 6 years ago, it was my first time, and not too much hallucinatory stuff happened, just more changes in vision. But I turned my head and looked into a room from the doorway, and across the room on the other side, I saw this dark silhouette of a person. It looked just like scribbly energy. I got goosebumps reading the scribbly description in yours because it was just so accurate. The creepy thing about this was that it just blinked out of existence the second I saw it. And somebody else replied and said, the ones I've seen are short too, and they have a weird silhouette, kind of like 3D around the edges. When I saw them, I felt like they were nasty, mischievous little creatures. Nice to know other people have seen them. And somebody else writes, I was around 13 or so. I woke up. It was a Sunday, I think, because I was home alone. I went out to the living room to play my Xbox and reached down to pick up a controller. It was around this time that I felt shivers go up and down my spine. I slowly turned around to something odd. A shadow was on the ground. Not that odd, right? Wrong. It was a circle shadow with nothing above it. I stared for a second because I was confused, and then suddenly a silhouette of a man rose up from that shadow, and it was scribblish, like what other people have described. It was probably 10 feet away from me. When it rose into a silhouette, I dropped my controller and sprinted into the other room and locked the door. I never saw anything else like this. So
I will say, if people are making this stuff, they're very creative.
they are. They are.
I couldn't come up with something like
And
that.
somebody else says, dude, when I was a kid, I saw the same thing that almost matches your description. I was laying in bed, the room door in front of me wide open and to the left. I could see the room where the front door was. There was an antique cabinet that my dad had that illuminated a white glow. I started to freak out for no reason and started sweating. I, for some reason, knew something was about to happen and I was about to witness something. About 5 minutes later, laying hot in sweat, I saw it. There was a door in the back of the room with the front door that was storage. A black outlined humanoid figure walked out, mildly scribbly looking, like you said. It took a few steps towards the front door and then suddenly stopped. And then it did a military-like turn facing me.
Ew.
Yeah, I know that used me out
Ugh.
too. At this point, I'm freaking out with my eyes wide open. It walks into my room and stops beside my bed, does one more military turn, and is now completely facing me.
No.
At that point, I figured, what do I have to lose? I noped the heck out and ran past the thing, ran upstairs to my parents' bedroom, and knocked furiously on their door, waiting for them to let me in. Eyes focused on the stairs, making sure it wasn't following me. Nothing. I slept with my parents the next few nights. One of the scariest things that happened to me as a child.
What is the theory that these scribble or static people are?
I don't know, but
Like, I can't think of anything that makes sense.
like we'll talk about this more in the next episode. But if these things are electromagnetic
Sure.
in nature, that's maybe them trying to come through and not being able to fully come through and coming
Yeah.
through as static or as squiggles. Like I don't know,
It's weird.
but yeah. So that's just just weird.
Creepy.
Yep.
The military pivot and turn is
that
very
creeps me out.
creepy.
Yeah. So
There's
that's
something
it.
crazy deliberate about
Yes,
it.
there is. Like that freaks me out so much, and I don't know
Yeah.
why.
No, me too.
But I know, I don't know if I have or you have, but somebody in here has a story where this thing is, they see this thing, then all of a sudden it just snaps their head and is
Nope.
looking at them.
Nope.
That creeps me out.
Yep. It's almost
So-
like the herky jerky
Yes.
stuff.
Yep. So now on to you, some
Oh,
more stories from
okay.
you.
Get my glasses. Oh, I just burped up rotten fish.
On fish and pickles.
Sure did. I'd rather burp up the pickles. Okay. When I was a young kid, me and my friends were big into ghosts, the paranormal, the occult, or anything else creepy. I was a self-identifying witch, and we would often go ghost hunting in local places. We even came up with a theory that our school used to be an ancient, cursed burial ground. As you do, you know.
Yeah.
The thing we loved most was Ouija boards, which is where the story begins. You know what I find interesting?
Huh.
And we can talk about this during the episode, but Greg and Dana are like, Ouija boards aren't evil. I don't know why
Yeah.
people are so afraid
Yeah.
of them. And honestly, it made me stop and think, why are we so
Yeah.
afraid of them? I've
Yep.
never had a bad experience with
No,
one.
I haven't either. So
It's funny how you hear a perspective that you didn't think of, and you're like, okay, have
I
I
know.
been just like overreacting for 20 years?
yep.
One day, my friend comes up to me and tells me about an experience he had. He had made a makeshift Ouija board and used it on his school bus. Right away, I'm like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
He had contacted a ghost that called itself A, and it was trying to warn us about something. Me and my other friend were curious and wanted to know more. I had recently got an actual Ouija board for Christmas, as you do, and I suggested that we should have a proper session at my house. So we all come over one day and set things up. Salt circle, candles, and lavender as a substitute for sage. She is a witch. We start the session and things go wrong immediately. The board is saying weird and cryptic things, so we ask its name. I've never had one work, by the way. And I'm always incredibly skeptical when I see people with a Ouija board working, because in my mind, someone's moving it.
I did it by myself that one time. I remember talking about this on the podcast. I was in my house that we lived in with my grandma, and it was me with both hands on the planchette in the basement by myself. And I'm like, is there anybody down here? And then it went to D and then U and then
It actually moved.
yeah, it went to D and then U and then K. And then I'm thinking, what's this going to be? It makes no sense. And then it went to E and I'm like, Duke. So then I stopped because I'm like, oh, that's like a name. So
Yeah.
I freaked out and I stopped. But that's the one time I remember doing it.
Did you close the session? After
No,
that?
I didn't. Could explain what
A
happened
lot.
in my apartment.
Allegedly, it's a board game.
Yeah.
And who made these rules up, and
Yeah.
are those rules even a thing?
Yep.
The board is saying weird and cryptic things, so we ask its name. The ghost goes by T. We ask what it is, and it just says proxy.
That's so weird to me. Is proxy.
It is. A quick Google search of the word made us realize that T was a proxy for something a lot darker. Us being kids, we thought it was the Ouija board demon, whose name started with a Z.
Yeah, we know who that is.
But now I'm a little unsure exactly what it was proxying for. Suddenly, we heard a loud noise coming from the closet. My friends went over to look, and I stayed back to not take my fingers off the planchette and accidentally end the session without saying goodbye. They both screamed and ran out. They both claimed they saw a long, black, shadowy thing with tiny white eyes curled up in the fetal position on the closet floor. We all freak out and end the session right there. I knew we had holy water in the other room, so we went to go get it. While we do, we hear another noise. We rushed back and found that the planchette. This is like a bad movie. I'm having a hard time believing this one.
Yeah.
Can you tell?
Yeah.
We rushed back and found that the planchette, which we had taken off the board, was back on the board by itself, and all our other items were scattered around the board.
But I do hear of this happening. I know Sophie had things happen.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. So, I mean,
See, and I believe Sophie.
Yeah, so do I.
We blessed the board right then and there. We talked to our ghosts a few more times, both T and A. We figured Sorry. We figured out that A comes in darkness and T comes in light. So
Whoop, I snorted right into the microphone.
oh my God. So if we wanted to talk to one or the other, we'd just turn the lights on and off. But here's the freaky part. T told my friends that he wanted to drain them of their essence and that he was connected to their families. A told us that he was also connected but was there to protect them. We saw the black shadow figure a few more times, most often outside our windows watching from the street. We thought it was T. We also saw a white figure with black eyes a few times, which we thought was A. I also could not go into the basement closet without getting a terrible sense of dread. Eventually, we get the house smudged and the sighting stopped completely. Now I'm a proper Wiccan and have resolved to myself to never use a Ouija board again. I don't know.
And it's weird because I'm not going to talk about Sophie's story because she sent it to me and I was one of the few people she sent it to. Mm-hmm. But there was something, humanoid figure sort of thing that she thought might have come from them with the Ouija board. And what's
that
weird,
they like invited somehow?
Yeah, and we're not supposed to say the thing's name, but it's kind of a synonym for proxy almost, which is weird to me.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so that's one of the reasons I kind of believe this story. But Sophie's story is really creepy, but it's not mine to talk about, and I don't think she likes talking about it. But that's what proxy kind of reminded me of. But yeah, Ouija board, we'll talk more about that stuff next episode, I'm sure, when we talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, next story. I don't believe in anything, strictly speaking. I think nothing is a lot more likely, personally, than most explanations of an afterlife that I've encountered. But distribution of likelihood is a statistical property, good Lord, that
I know.
people
I remember
get wrong
reading
all the time.
I like the way they think, though.
Flavin,
I do
yeah.
like the way they think.
We see a 2 in 5 chance and assume it means that a thing will occur 2 out of every 5 times. But in reality, probability resets each time.
And that's true. Like, you know, I spent a lot of time thinking about what this person was saying.
Yeah.
That when I hear, like, something has a 2 out of 5 chance of happening, I do think it's going to happen twice out of every 5 turns, but that doesn't necessarily mean that.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting misconception, I guess. It's a 40% probability every time unless the number of conditions changes by removing or adding a possibility. And in that respect, nothing has the same 1 in 1 million probability that any other religious or spiritual belief has. If I can't definitively remove the condition from my probability set, I can't discount it.
We need this person in our group to help us.
I probably need a
debunk
dictionary and have to Google everything they say, but whatever. I did actually get the gist of that.
Yeah, I did too.
I probably couldn't explain it to somebody. And then weird shoot started happening when I was pregnant.
I should have took the swear words out of your stories before I sent them.
My starting premise was that it was a biological thing. The flood of hormones, the physiological disquiet of morning sickness, it made sense that I might have some dizzy spells or my eyes might play tricks. But I would be lying to say I didn't see or feel something. A reflection moving across a stainless steel fridge like someone walking past despite nobody else being home. Sudden cold coming from an interior doorway where chills didn't make sense. Things subtly moving behind me while I worked at my desk. And my male cats very much weren't pregnant, but they saw something too. They would respond to the same shadows or growl down the hallway. My oldest cat pretty much lived as my sentry until we moved from that condo later during my pregnancy. But cats are known to have strong reactions when a human they're bonded to is pregnant. They get clingy and defensive without needing any ghosts, just as a matter of course. So nothing stayed in the database. I like the way this person talks and thinks. And we moved into a cute little mid-century in a cute little neighborhood. All seemed well. No more shadows or cold spots. Baby arrived as expected. When she arrived, sleep became a bit of a sticking point in the house, of course.
Yeah.
or not sleeping, my husband and I coped by taking shifts where we would watch over our daughter downstairs while the other got some sleep on the main floor. We set up a basement nursery for her, and the parent on shift would usually set up a nest in the basement den. I had to rearrange the furniture shortly into our shifts system because I couldn't shake the feeling that something was standing at the base of the stairs and watching me the whole time I was down there. Then there was the sudden dread, the feeling of certainty that the same something had entered the room with my baby and I needed to go to her. But postpartum is hard and the hormones are intense, so it still made sense that it could be nothing. Only our pest control technician, after getting to know him some, admitted to me that he finds something about our basement unsettling and he tries to get out fast. Our daughter started sleeping better, we ended the shifts, and our lives moved back upstairs. She started to grow and interact with her world, and the staring began. There seemed to be something always just off to the side in the doorway across the hall that absolutely captivated her. She grew more, learned to do more things, and the staring became smiling.
That's so weird.
Then babbling, then waving.
Yeah.
She seemed to be fully interacting with something either behind me or across the hall a lot more often than I cared for her after all of the above. But baby's gonna baby, and I wasn't ready to let go of nothing. Then the monitor. I had a hard time with phantom crying when I was trying to fall asleep, thinking I was hearing my daughter just as I drifted off, so we got a very fancy baby monitor to help. It had sound and motion detection and ran on a fully closed system restricted to our Wi-Fi. That's smart. You hear about people picking up other people's stuff.
Yep.
Makes me think of Signs. Oh, I really want to watch Signs now.
Signs is a good Halloween
It's free on
movie to
YouTube.
watch. I might have to watch it.
Only it went off constantly. It was constantly registering motion, sometimes as many as 3 alerts per minute, even when I could see on the screen that my daughter wasn't moving. We changed the sensitivity levels, dropping them so low at one point that the monitor wasn't picking up the actual movement of the actual baby anymore, but still the alerts came. We moved the camera, changed the angle, messed with every setting, even got a new monitor receiver assuming ours was defective, but no difference. We eventually just turned off the motion alerts once we got out of the SIDS window. I also learned to turn the monitor off whenever my daughter wasn't in her room because the monitor didn't help the phantom cries either, and I dislike hearing them even louder through the monitor. Today, still, my daughter interacts with someone. Just a little less, maybe, thankfully. Toys still randomly go off in the box sometimes. A piano mat responds to steps we didn't take, that kind of stuff. I still don't like the basement, but laundry's got to get done, so I just make it quick. I still don't know what it is, but at least my probability set got a little smaller because it certainly isn't nothing. I loved that. They were really good at telling a story.
Yes, they were. Like that's
I wish
why
they were all like that.
It's funny because when I saved that one, I'm like, I thought the same exact
They
thing.
could write a book. I would read it.
Yep. And they sound skeptical, but they'd still know that something went on.
A little bit of a sense of humor.
Was that your last one?
No, I think I have. There's no Kurt reads here yet. No, this is my last one, and then you read. My mom had a fatal heart attack at the dental office she and my dad worked at for over 20 years. In the weeks following her passing, I stepped in to help my dad out. When my mom collapsed, she was attempting to grab the phone in her back office, probably to dial 911. I think that part is relevant because the creepy part of the story involves that very same phone.
I don't like phones.
No. A few days after she died, a call came into the office and the caller ID was none other than my own mother, name, and number. I answered the phone literally shaking, and of course, the voice was not that of my deceased mother, but the voice of a patient that had been going to my parents since my dad started. She was confused because I was stumbling over my words, and I had to explain to her what happened with the caller ID. I apologized, saying that maybe the phone just glitched, but it continued to happen for about 2 weeks after she died. Then the caller ID issue just stopped happening, around the time I stopped going in. It still freaks me out to think about it.
That's so weird.
And then there's a reply. My mom died in 1995. Starting shortly afterwards, the phone in my bedroom would ring. I would answer it, but I couldn't hear anyone say anything. There wouldn't be static or a dial tone or any noise other than the sound of air. The weird thing is the phone in the rest of the house wouldn't ring, just the one in my bedroom.
That's so weird.
After it happened several times, I sent my sister to go pick up another phone to see if I could hear her talking while the line was open. When she picked up the phone in her room, she had a dial tone. After a while, it just stopped. I have no idea what it was, but I always wondered. Yeah, that's creepy,
Phone
actually.
stuff. Yikes. My turn?
Yeah.
Here's one for you. I have a brother who is 8 years older than me. My mom used to talk about a creepy, grinning version of him that both she and a babysitter saw when he was little. It seemed to age with him, and my mom saw him multiple times. The babysitter saw him once and freaked the F out.
The idea of it aging
Yeah.
with him.
And then I saw him when I was in high school. My brother worked multiple jobs and was gone a lot. To help him out and make some extra cash, I would clean his room and do his laundry for him each week. I would usually stay up late Saturday nights to watch Mad TV and SNL while folding laundry. I started feeling like I was being watched, but my brother was at work and everyone else was asleep. When I turned to look, there was my brother peeking around the wall of the bedroom, peeking around the wall of the hallway at me with a super creepy grin on his
No.
face. All I could see were his hands holding the wall and his head sticking out around the corner.
It's like that green guy you
But
saw.
yep, it's exactly like the green guy, but his grin was freaky. I instantly thought my brother was home messing with me, so I said something along the lines of, go away, and looked back to the TV. Then I remembered he wasn't home and the hairs on my arm just stood up. I looked back and he was gone, but the next morning I told my mom what I had seen and she just nodded in understanding. So that's
Oh,
weird.
that gives me the willies.
And somebody replies, dude, I had something similar happen to me as a kid, but with my mom. I was trying to fall asleep, but couldn't because I kept staring out of my room into the dark hallway. After a bit, I saw my mom walk out from the side, which was weird because her room was downstairs and she was looking straight ahead, perpendicular to me. She stopped mid-stride with her arms up and then slowly turned the head to face me with her eyes wide open and a huge creepy grin on her face. She slowly turned her head back away from me and then walked, disappearing into the wall. It scared the heck out of me. I was like 7.
Like, what is that?
I don't know.
There's something so sinister about
Yeah,
that.
there's something so creepy about that.
Ugh.
Like, I don't know. So, April of 2015, I was up late working with a couple other teams for a large IT implementation and decided to take the dog out and grab a smoke while the other team members finished up their work. It was around 3 o'clock a.m., so I didn't bother with a leash and just headed downstairs and outside. Once we got out, my dog went over to the grassy area in front of my apartment building and started her 5-minute ritual of picking the perfect pooping spot. I grabbed a spot on the stairs and lit a cigarette. The grassy area my dog was scouring was very well lit, but the rest of the neighborhood was nearly pitch black due to lack of streetlights, so it almost looked like a wall of darkness starting just at the street. Anyway, I'm sitting there and watching my dog in the light when out of nowhere, I see something move out of the street and onto the grass and behind a tree around 30 yards away in front of my dog. She had her back to it, so she never saw it, and whatever it was didn't make any sort of sound while it moved. So I thought maybe my eyes were playing tricks on me, and it was probably a good time to get back and check in at work. I got up off my butt and took a few steps in my dog's direction. It was around then that my dog went on the defensive. Her hackles came up, she started growling, and her body went completely stiff. When I caught up to her, she was locked in on a tree right in front of her, just staring and growling. It was the same tree I had seen whatever this was move behind. I tried to get her to follow me or respond to me or even look at me, but she was just all about that tree. At this point, I figured she was just spazzing out at some perceived non-threat, something she had done before when she came across a new sign in the park that hadn't been there before. This time, though,
Sounds right.
Lucy. This time, though, I wasn't interested in her taking another 5 minutes to figure out what it was before trying to make friends with it, because I knew she first had to bark at it aggressively for a minute or two, and I didn't want to wake up the whole neighborhood. As it goes from here, I remember leaning down on one knee to talk to her in a soft voice. As I got down on one knee, I looked over to that tree, and I saw it. It was standing in front of the tree, and it stood about 10 feet tall. It resembled a man in figure, but it was too skinny to host any sort of major organs. It was black from head to toe, and I don't know if it was the way the light was catching it, but it looked like almost a 2D stick figure that had jumped off a notebook page or something. It had no discernible features whatsoever. I froze, my dog got super quiet, and for a second or two it was just us three staring at each other. Then it turned and took off running down the street, or more like glided down the street in the oddest fashion, almost like the way a cross-country skier moves. It was odd and hard to describe, and it didn't make any sounds as it ran, and a moment later it disappeared into the dark. My dog relaxed after that, and we headed back inside. So...
Dogs are funny like that.
Somebody replied and said, "You saw a Native American creature called a Wanagamzak." I
Oh.
grew up in New Jersey and was told that Wana Gamezaks were never sated and always hungry. So hungry that you could only see them in profile because if they looked at you head on, they were so thin they almost disappeared into a straight line. That's
Weird.
weird. My friend in the first grade was indigenous American, and her older brother liked to scare us with it. He said these creatures were called up as a punishment by witches who wanted to punish the white colonists who consumed everything, even the land. But they were dangerous because they didn't care who or what they ate and were bound to the land just south of us and couldn't leave there. But if we ventured into their land, they would eat us. They bit just like a hatchet cutting into wood and left wedge-shaped bites that went all the way down to the bone. I was sufficiently scared. And then somebody replied and said, I got so many chills just now because this is a lot like my story in so many ways. I don't believe it was the same thing, though. My grandma had an extra drinks refrigerator outside on her wraparound porch just outside the sliding patio door. Past that, at the corner, was a gazebo area that led out into the front yard. It sounds like a really nice yard. The house was out in the country, so it was normal to have animals out there. My cats, my uncle's cats, and a couple strays that had been dropped off and decided to stay. They were all on the porch with me. They're all friendly and used to people, despite being so far out. Many people have visited the area, and the neighbors would always walk through. I've never seen them be scared or dislike anyone or anything like that. So when they all started hissing and backing towards me, I thought maybe there was a possum or a raccoon or something in the yard. I looked up and out just past the gazebo where they were all staring. There was a big tree out there in the yard, and the porch light just made it far enough to illuminate the closest side of the tree. What I saw, my mind still doesn't know how to explain properly. There was something looking out from behind the tree. I thought it was a man at first because he was right at eye level while I was on the porch, which would have probably made him about 9 feet tall.
Eesh.
His body was behind the tree, so I have no idea what that looked like. The other indication that he was not human was that his eyes were either glowing or reflecting the light. I'm not sure which, but it was red. He had a lot of hair or fur on his face, and it was gray. It went all the way around his head wildly. I took it like the way an old recluse would look as if he let his head and facial hair grow out for his few months past shaving time. So I stared for about half a second before I leapt for the patio door, which, to my luck, was locked. I kept my eyes on this thing as I banged on the door frantically. I didn't have a good mother, so I'm pretty sure that was the happiest I'd ever seen her. I didn't have a good mother, so I'm pretty sure that was the happiest I had ever been to see her when she came to open that door.
That makes more sense.
The thing didn't move at all during the time. It just stood there as before and looked at me. After I got inside and slammed the door shut, I ran to the front window and tried to see if I could make out more detail, and to my surprise, it was now gone. It was literally seconds later, and no person could possibly have gotten out of my line of sight that quickly. I could see the whole front and side yard, which were very large from where I stood. The other thing that I noticed was that the cat started to relax and go back to normal as well. That's how I knew for sure that the thing was gone. My brain has tried to explain it a million times in a million different ways, but I'm no closer to figuring it out than I was that night. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm not saying it was Mothman, but I'm not saying it was Mothman.
Interesting.
LOL.
Okay.
So there you go. There's some more. Now Krista reads.
Oh,
This is your last batch, and then I read the rest because I didn't know how much time we were going to have.
Okay. I would say
we're doing good.
We're
Another
just
half hour for
Yeah, we're perfect actually. We're perfect. Okay.
We are.
I was around 13 or 14 when this happened. It was a weekend, and my dad and I were playing catch in the narrow hallway of our house. To reach the master bedroom, you had to go through that hallway, and my dad was standing right outside the bedroom door while we played. My mom had stepped out earlier to bring in the laundry she had left drying in the sun. A little while later, she came back inside, carrying the clothes in her arms. But something about her was different. She looked furious. Just before stepping out, she'd been joking with us, laughing as usual. As she crossed my dad to enter the bedroom, he asked what happened. She didn't answer, didn't even look at us, and went straight in. My dad glanced at me, confused, and we both wondered what had upset her so suddenly. The next second, oh, come on. Our front door opened. My mom walked in, holding the laundry. Dad and I froze. We both just stared at her and asked, didn't you just go into the bedroom? She looked at us in total confusion. I just came now. How could I go into the bedroom and back to the front door without you seeing me? We live on the second floor. There's no balcony, no way in or out except through this hallway. My father and I had clearly seen her, or something that looked exactly like her, walk into the bedroom, yet here she was, just arriving. From that day on, my father refused to sleep in that bedroom, and even though we both know what we saw, he now swears that the incident never happened. Except you won't sleep in that bedroom.
Exactly.
My mom used to have sleep paralysis regularly in that home, but after we shifted to another home, that completely stopped.
That's weird.
I have experienced a couple of scary moments in that home too, which made me believe in paranormal entities. Quote, in parentheses, used Chat GPT to polish the story as English is not my first language. Oh, okay. So that was the end of that story.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Yep.
I got all the doppelgangers.
Yeah, I think, well, I think you got most of them.
So this is a new story. Didn't see it with my eyes, but heard it with my own ears. I was maybe 10 to 11 years old and had been having a really hard time falling asleep for weeks. I would fall asleep, then wake up a couple hours later, crying that a monster was in my room. I eventually got so scared that I stole a knife from the kitchen and was sleeping with it under my pillow.
I remember reading that.
Wow.
Yeah.
One night I had a really vivid dream about being around a bonfire and dancing to the sound of drums when I suddenly woke up. The sound of drums didn't stop, but there was nothing in my room. So I slid my hand under my pillow, and as soon as I grabbed the knife, the sound cut off, and I remember hearing something say, "Oh, shoot, she's awake." It terrified me for years after, and I still remember the beat of the drums
That's
of
weird.
my dreams.
What freaks me out in there is hearing somebody say, "Oh shoot, she's
Yeah.
awake."
Like I can understand coming out of a dream and still kind of having it
Yeah.
linger a little bit.
Yeah.
But then
But
hearing
not that.
someone
Yeah,
say
so I
that,
was just-
that's different.
Yeah.
All right, next story. When I was a kid, my family and I moved. I remember we were riding in an SUV packed to the gills. Not a whole lot of room to move around with all the stuff in it. During a pit stop, I remember looking in the back and seeing the ears of my Bugs Bunny plushie moving on their own like some sort of animatronic toy. On top of that, the ears moved as if they were individual creatures. From what I can remember, they were both riding on top of one of my car toys and taking bites out of the vacuum cleaner next to it. The type that still had the hanging bags on them. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. I
Yep.
remember those.
Yep.
Even as a little... Wow. I forgot that vacuums had like
Yeah.
bags on them.
Yeah, hanging on them.
Even as a little kid, I thought it was pretty ridiculous and positive it was just a dream. When we finally got to the new place and unpacked everything, my folks noticed that the bag on the vacuum had a bunch of holes in it.
That's so weird.
None of us could reach the vacuum in transit, not even me. I asked my mom about it many years later, and she remembers it too. Never figured out how it actually happened. That's just
It was
bizarre.
a toy that came to life.
Maybe there was a mouse in there
It's
that was
possible.
moving around.
Yeah.
I still feel, so this is a new story. I still feel my heart race when I think of this. I was about 14, circa summer 2000. My folks were gone for the night, so my cousin and I had the house to ourselves. We watched scary movies and told spooky stories. After a few hours, we were just relaxing, watching TV, when there was a knock at the front door. It was dark and we were edgy, so we crept to the door and looked out to the peephole. We looked out the peephole. You can tell I'm getting far enough into this. I'm just stumbling over
Yep.
everything now. The motion-activated porch light was on, but we didn't see anyone. While we were exchanging confused looks, the doorbell rang. Still
That's
standing.
so creepy
Yeah.
when you're looking out and there's nothing there, and then it
And the
keeps
doorbell
knocking or the
rings?
doorbell rings.
Ugh. I've seen, and they have to be like hoaxes,
Oh, I'm sure
but I've
they are.
seen videos because there's a lot of creepy channels on YouTube
Yeah.
where people are video and there's like aggressive knocking,
and then they
it's
open the
coming
door.
from over
Yep,
here, and then it's
yep,
on all the doors, and I'm like, I would literally die if that happened. I mean, it's really creepy, but also we
Yeah.
can't see that
No,
nobody's out there.
exactly.
Still standing in front of the door, I peeked out. No one, not even a shadow. We got the heebie-jeebies and retreated to the living room, turned on all the lights, and anxiously waited, thinking it was a ding-dong ditch. Just enough time passed that we started to relax when we heard a knock, only this time it was from the garage door. Ugh, the one that leads directly into the house. But how? You didn't hear the that gave me the willies. You didn't hear the electric door open. Like if I heard a knock on our garage door
Yeah.
inside at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would freak out.
When we walked up to the door, we noticed the handle start to turn. My cousin immediately locked the deadbolt and we backed off like, WTF is this? As we started to move further from the door, the front door rang again, then knocking in the garage. Oh, I'm describing
Yeah,
exactly
what
what
you
I
just
just
talked
talked about.
about.
Then knocking in the garage, followed by knocking on the door to the backyard. We started to panic a bit. Was this a prank or what? Naturally, we ran to my folks' room to hide under the bed. Except when we got to the hallway, we started to hear knocking from inside all the bedroom doors. All of them. The knocking got louder and more aggressive and kept on. We finally called someone. When they said they were on their way over, the knocking just stopped as quickly as it started. The cops came along with the adult we called. They looked all over the property, talked to the neighbors, couldn't find any evidence that anyone had been there. To this day, we still wonder, was it someone playing tricks on us or was it something more?
That's creepy.
There'd be a lot of someone's playing a lot of tricks
creepy.
on you.
That's just straight up creepy.
Nothing like that ever happened again, but we both always felt uneasy in that house after. That is like a nightmare.
Yeah, it's
Literally
like a nightmare.
A nightmare. I still have a few more. Okay. I used to have weird and creepy experiences in a home when I was a kid. It was right across the street from an open field that had a church on the far right of the lot. Big church with a loud bell that you would hear every day at noon. Not sure if it ever meant anything, but it had an energy to it I can't explain as an adult. When I was little, my bed was along the far wall in the room. Depending on which way I faced, I would be looking at the wall or down the hallway all the way to the other side of the house. I remember constantly forcing myself to face the wall because I would constantly see a figure at the other side of the house during the middle of the night. Tall, masculine figure with red eyes and a top hat. I swear to God.
Man.
Yep. No features could be made out other than the bright red eyes and the shape of the top hat. It would never enter my room or make a sound. It would just stand at the other side of the house and slowly make its way down the hallway until it
so
stopped
creepy.
at my door.
I remember this. This reminds me of. I stayed at my friend's family's house. Tom, my friend in Arizona. I don't remember if it was. Yeah, I think it was his. They lived there, or his brother, but they had a cat. And the first night that I slept there, like the cat wasn't used to me because I had never slept there before. So I'm laying on the bed and I see the cat in the kitchen, and then I fall asleep for a couple minutes, open my eyes, and the cat's a little bit closer, and then I fall asleep again, and then I open my eyes and the cat's a little bit closer, and then finally it was up on the bed with me, like tapping me, trying to figure out who I was. But that's what this reminds me of.
Because cats will just stalk you.
Yeah, yep, that's what it was doing. But that's what this reminds me of with the moving down.
Not cute.
But no, I'd rather have
cute
a cat.
at all.
I know a cat I'm cool with. A dark figure with a top hat on, I'm not so cool with.
I could feel it staring at me even when I wasn't facing the door. I remember many nights just laying in bed facing the white wall in my room, just waiting until I was too tired to stay awake anymore. There were other times where I remember hearing family member voices calling out from throughout the house or basement when they actually weren't there.
Ugh.
Always saying help or come here.
No.
I was told to never listen unless they responded to you, which they never did, which is so true of those mimic stories.
They just keep
never
saying the same
directly
thing
respond
over and
to you.
over. Yeah.
Or at least I don't remember when I'd call back. As an adult, my sisters and mom said they heard the same thing.
One of these nights I should come out here at like
No.
midnight outside and
Don't
like,
do that.
Krista, come out here.
Hell no. All I have to do is like go on Snapchat and find your location, right?
No, I got that shut
You
off
turned
now
it
on
off now?
Snapchat.
I don't even have Snapchat, so
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay.
Parents got divorced when I wasn't much older, so I never got to investigate it as I got older. Whole family talks about it as we're all older and we all had strange experiences, but those weird memories never left. And thinking back as a 28-year-old still gives me the chills. Heck yeah. New story. When I was little, we lived in a house on a wooded lot. It had a long, winding driveway that had woods on either side. They just described my house.
Yeah, they did.
I was walking along it one day and I hear a creepy child's voice nearby in the woods call my name.
No.
I stopped and looked into the woods and asked who was there. It responded, "Come play with me."
Yikes, no.
I asked again who it was. It said, "Come here. I want to show you something." It scared me and I ran to my house. I was convinced my brother was playing tricks on me, but he was inside playing video games. So there was a day not too long ago.
I thought about driving down your like coming in your driveway. It's like so dark.
Yeah. There's no street lights around here.
No, and there's woods.
Yeah. I was walking Lucy to the end of the driveway
Yeah.
and back, and I heard something in the woods. And I looked over and there was nothing there. And I was like, oh, whatever. We have lots of squirrels. They're very noisy. I was going to say deer, but they're the quietest thing in the woods. And I started walking a little more and I looked in the woods again. And there was Jim standing there.
Oh,
and
God.
at first it didn't register that it was Jim. I was like, oh my God, there's a man in our woods. It was like, this is my worst fear. And then it registered that it was him. And I'm like, you jerk.
Did he do
like
that on
he was
purpose?
totally like kind of stalking me along through the woods to scare me. And I'm
That's
like, you
awesome.
realize this is exactly what I'm afraid of.
Yeah,
And you just
that's
made it
awesome.
happen.
That's awesome. At least it wasn't a kid going, come play with me.
Oh yeah, no. I just got a no internet connection. Well, we don't need internet to
Record.
do anything. That's weird though.
That is weird.
Okay. Well, I have the email open. I don't think it's going to shut. And of course, Audacity doesn't use the internet, so we should be fine. Okay. This is my last story. Sure, I got one. I share it every few years, hoping that someone somewhere had a similar experience because I haven't run across anyone yet, and the experience was really formative. I was around 9 years old. We were visiting my mom's parents and stayed overnight.
See, when I hear that, that makes me feel like it's not fake because
Weird details like that.
yeah,
Yeah. It's like, why would you make
using
that
the
up?
word that was formative? Like,
Oh, yeah. I see.
yeah.
There was a storm that night, and the thunder woke me up. Constant lightning, but between flashes, I could see a weird greenish glow coming from the hallway. I got out of bed and, being clumsy, absolutely bashed my hip against a little table in the cluttered and unfamiliar room. I would later awake with a giant bruise to prove this happened. I got to the hallway and realized the glow was coming from the room across the hall that my mom was sleeping in. I got to the doorway and I can see what's glowing. A giant, like 3-foot tall old woman's hand from the wrist
This one's weird
up.
because I can picture this in my head.
Not moving like the fingers individually, but rotating slowly. The whole thing like a
giant
sculpture.
hand, like a sculpture of a hand rotating, which is so weird.
Okay. Yeah, my 9-year-old brain couldn't fathom WTF I was seeing any more than it makes sense to write out. I just gaped at it. I watched it rotate and blindly took in the details, frozen in fear because it was so weird. I could see the paper thinness of the skin, the veins winding their way up, the deep nail beds. It was almost made of a faintly sticky luminescent light and wasn't see-through exactly, but you know how nighttime vision is like grainy? I described this thing as double grainy. That might not make sense, but I can totally understand what they're saying.
Yeah, I can too.
It's almost like night vision is kind of grainy. That might not make sense, but it's the best way I've found to describe it. I finally started hoarsely yelling for Mom, who woke up. Her bed was across the room under the window, so I'd have to run past the thing to get to her. She didn't appear to see anything and called for me to come to her. So I gathered my courage and ran past it. It didn't react, just kept rotating, and she gathered me up in the bed and almost immediately went back to sleep. I continued to stare at this giant thing invading my reality until I eventually drifted to sleep. Morning, I woke up with a big bruise on my hip. A mom convinced I was having a nightmare and remembers me waking her up and climbing into bed, but swears she saw nothing. I never figured out what it could have been, but it scared the hell out of me as a kid. That is the weirdest story.
Yeah, yep.
I mean,
Yep.
how do you make that up?
I don't know. I don't know.
Very bizarre.
So I was working at a summer camp in the Pacific Northwest one year. On the second or third night there, I was jogging alone back from the staff campfire to the cabin where the campers and my co-counselor slept. I was walking in this big grassy thoroughway that has some taller reeds separating it from the shore of the Puget Sound, probably like 2 a.m., full moon and everything. As I'm jogging, I see this person in the reeds. It's wearing a white gown. It has no face, just hair. I only noticed it because as I approached it, it stood up from a crouched position, backed up joltily a few steps, then crouched down again. That's so creepy to me.
Yeah.
But I could still see it crouching there. I approached it. Yeah, but I could still see it crouching there like it was waiting. Its movements told me that it was not human. My knees gave out and I felt flooded with fear as I collapsed. I tried to run back to my cabin, but my legs would just not work. I crawled and scrambled there on all fours. I tried to scream, but no sound came out, just gasping. I finally got to my cabin and fumbled with the door for what felt like a minute before I could open it. I closed the door and stood there waiting for a while inside. I didn't hear anything, but I barely slept that night. At some point later that night, I remember laughing to myself, thinking, oh, it was just probably one of the campers peeing. I was laughing at myself for like 20 minutes and fell asleep. Next morning, I realized that no campers returned to the cabin or could have potentially been out there peeing that night. I asked all of them, and they said they hadn't gone out to pee the previous night. I'll add that this camp was overtly for non-religious, skeptically minded staff and campers, of which I was and largely still am, but I have no explanation for what I saw that night. It still scares the poop out of me just typing this. Somebody replies, says, I can't believe I just read this story tonight. I was just having a conversation with my friend a few hours ago about our paranormal experiences. We are currently on the Washington coast near Astoria. My friend told me a story almost identical to yours. He was driving at night near a reservation north of Seattle, woods all around the car. He approached a figure crouched down and facing away from the road. He stopped to ask him if they were okay because he thought it might be a child. It didn't respond, so he tapped his car horn. The figure turned to look at the car still crouching by the road, and my friend said it had no face.
Ugh.
This was about 15 or 20 years ago. What a weird coincidence. So that's creepy.
Anytime
Something crouching?
Yeah, and the first story where it's kind of not, it's moving unnaturally.
Yeah.
Like, that's
yeah.
creepy.
Yeah. Somebody writes, I was reading a library book before bed one night when I was a teenager. It was something really boring I had checked out for a history project for school, and I couldn't keep my stupid eyes open. I fell asleep with it on my bed. I had a sleep paralysis event happen, and then I watched a shadowy figure of a man walk into my room, look around, pick up a few knickknacks, and then set them back down. It was so terrifying. My entire body was screaming to move, but I couldn't, not even my fingers. I just wanted to scream for help, but nothing happened. I finally got enough courage to look at the man, but he wouldn't come into focus for some reason. He was just like a shadow, like he wasn't fully there. He came up to the side of my bed and stood over me, looking down at me for what felt like forever. I was so terrified, but I couldn't move a muscle. Then he reached down towards me and grabbed my library book and turned, walking out of the room. I never found that library book, even after tearing my room apart. My mom said it was a coping dream for losing the library book, but I don't think you need a coping dream.
Yeah.
But I distinctly remember falling asleep reading it that night, and I even sent a text to my boyfriend that night saying that I wished I had chosen a different book because this one sucked and was putting me to sleep. I had to pay a fine and everything. Somebody replied and said, dude, Sleep Demon straight up ganked your book. So
Ganked your book.
ganked your book.
Love it.
Next story, my best friend and I found a store that didn't exist. It was full of pagan items and things like it, such as zodiac sign necklaces, candles, and books. It was downtown in our small city, and we were both familiar with the area and had never seen this store before. We ended up not buying anything because we were a couple of broke teenagers, but we did agree that we were going to return there when we had some money. Except when we did have more money, 2 weeks later, the store was gone. It wasn't that the owner had left. There was just nothing there. The doorway no longer existed. It
What?
hadn't been freshly bricked over or anything. The store was just no longer there. So
That's weird.
weird.
We've heard stories like
Yeah,
that before. It's always a little creepy. Like,
Yep.
did you like step through?
A portal or something, or a time.
Yeah.
Somebody writes, this was about 20 years ago. My teenage sister was talking to my mom and I in the living room one afternoon. All of a sudden, she got a weird look on her face, stopped mid-sentence, and said, I have to answer the phone. It wasn't ringing. My family, like everyone else, had a landline phone in the mid-90s. It was wall-mounted in the next room over the kitchen. As she walks towards the kitchen, the phone begins to ring. She picked it up and said, hello? Yes, this is she. She never talked like that. She said, yes, okay, I will. She hung up the phone, no goodbye or anything. So my mom and I are kind of unnerved at that point. We ask, who was that? And she says, who was who? We say, on the phone. And she said, when was I on the phone?
Oh my God.
Isn't that weird? She
Very.
had and still has to this day no recollection of what had happened.
That's
I still
creepy.
think about that constantly 20 years later.
That's really creepy.
That is really weird.
It's like she went into a trance or something.
Yeah. So that one.
Did the phone ring or no?
Yeah.
It did ring.
After
okay.
she said she had to answer the phone and started
Yeah.
walking towards it, it rang. So that one creeps me out
She was
because
being deprogrammed.
that's what it seems like. That's kind
or
of
programmed.
Yeah. The night
There
my-
was a Dean Koontz book
kind
about
of, yeah,
that.
Yep. Yeah.
It would do-
Is that
he
the
would
one
do
we
it
had to
over the
read? Is that the
phone.
one we had to read for
I think
a
so.
book club? Yeah.
Yes, we did, and the therapist would do it
Yep.
over the phone.
Yep. The night my grandmother died, I heard voices coming from her room. The only people in the house were me, my grandma, and my mother. It was around 1 o'clock in the morning, and I could hear my mom snoring in the other room, so I know she wasn't in there talking to my grandma, and I would have recognized her voice if she was. These were voices I didn't recognize, and furthermore, one of them was distinctly male. I very clearly heard my grandmother say, quote, "Oh, how have you been?" And then the male voice responded too low for me to make out the words, but my grandma sounded so happy to be chatting with him.
Oh.
By this time, I had gotten up and had my hand on the doorknob about to go into her room and investigate just what the hell was going on when I heard a female voice, which was not my grandma's, saying, quote, "It's time to go now." I heard that and my whole body just froze. It's hard to explain, but I had this terrible sensation that it would be very, very bad for me to open that door right at that moment. Like walking in on your parents having sex, only with some kind of terrifying ghost thing thrown in it for extra horror. I just backed away very slowly and went into my mom's room instead. I felt cold all over, like I had been standing outside in a snowstorm, so I got under the covers and just laid there until my mom woke up. I told her that I thought Grandma was dead. Turns out she was. I still miss her, even though it was terrifying for me. Hearing that exchange made me less scared of dying. Grandma wasn't scared of the voices. She sounded happy, like she wanted to go with them. I hope she comes for me when it's my time. Some interesting additional information I found out after talking to my mom. When she found Gran's body, she was on the floor a few feet from her bed on the left side of the room away from the door. She had been bedridden for 2 months prior to this, and the only thing in that corner of the room she was going towards was an ancient suitcase that she had carried all of her life. It had some sentimental items, mostly pictures, and a pair of black gloves, which I now own. She had somehow also managed to put her shoes on. We can only guess she was getting herself ready to go on her journey. So that's weird,
Wow.
but comforting at the same
Yeah.
time. I'm going to do just a couple more, and then we can call it. My family and I lived in a big ranch house in central Florida on about 4 acres of swampy farmland. That sounds great. I was very stressed and just not sleeping well at all. One night, I was startled awake. I was laying on my left side. I opened my eyes, and I saw a black silhouette standing right next to my bed, less than a foot away from my face. It was about the size and shape of a little girl, I'd say about 5 to 6 years old. I gasped, and the silhouette seemed to startle as well, and then slipped under my bed like a dropped
Oh.
sheet of paper. It just went whoosh right under the bed.
Wow.
That creeps me out.
Yeah.
I spent a solid minute or so paralyzed with fear, just asking myself, did I just see that? Did I just see that? Another incident in the same house, my son, who was 24 at the time, saw an adult-sized silhouette in the kitchen. He got up in the middle of the night for water, not bothering to turn on any lights. He came down the hall and turned the corner into the kitchen, and it was standing right in front of the fridge. He said it seemed to be reaching out to him. Scared him so bad he dropped his cup, ran back to his room, and locked himself in. I had a stillborn daughter years back, so I thought maybe that's what I saw, which made me really sad. But at the time, I found out the property we were living on was also very close to one of the earliest European settlements in central Florida, and the settlers had been fighting with some of the indigenous Seminole people in the area. Apparently, 2 of the family's children, a boy and a girl, were killed and buried sometimes near our home in unmarked graves. Gave me the straight-up willies when I found that out. We were happy to move. There's something weird about the thing swooping under the bed like a piece of paper.
Yeah. And like it has done that before.
A few years ago, I was home alone at nighttime. I was watching TV in the living room when I heard the doorbell ring. Whenever I hear the doorbell ring, especially when I'm home alone, I'm cautious to answer it. I think I might have read this one. I walk up to the peephole without turning on the porch light and look through. It's really dark, but I can see a small figure, more like a black blob, doing like a dancing motion, dipping down and oscillating its arms outward. Think of a person moving their arms like wings gracefully. It was dark outside, but this figure was more opaque, so I could see this going on. After a few seconds, I stopped looking through the peephole because this was too freaky to look at. I regained some courage and looked out, and whatever it was gone. To this day, I don't know what that was, and I get freaked out thinking about it. Yeah, I don't know. A few years ago, my brother would get a call on his cell phone around 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock a.m. every night. He would answer it, and it was this hellish sounding noise, like static mixed with screams. That creeps me out.
It is hell.
Yep, he changed his cell number after a month of this, and then it stopped. And then a week or so, it began again, the same exact noise, same exact time. Finally, one day, he decided to backdial the call. It was an old man that had no clue what he was talking about. Still, the calls persisted. If he didn't answer, it would call a few more times. No messages were ever left. He decided to say the heck with this. He ended his contract with his phone company, switched to a new one, and they got another new number. You guessed it, the screaming static calls continued after a short delay. By this time,
That would really freak me out.
That's my biggest fear is like that phone. By this time, he was terrified every night. Unsure what was happening, he backdialed the number again, this time got a different person. Around this time, he lost his job and his phone. The calls stopped, of course. His phone was disconnected. So one day, my mom asks me to listen to this weird message she got on our home phone. It was the static screaming. We played it for our brother, and he was freaking out. He backdialed the number again and said it was a disconnected number. We never heard from the number again.
Oh,
Yeah, that
weird.
one's so creepy to me. Let's see here. I'm not a religious person, and if anything, only believe in just doing good and honoring whatever positive energy there is in the universe. What happened to me still makes me feel surely like someone was pranking me. I'm not even sure how to share this story. It still freaks me out. I want to be a logical person, but this has always shaken me enough to question everything. I've only told this story to my brother. When I was in high school, I dated a guy who, to be frank, was always an a-hole, but towards the end of our relationship, he started worshiping Satan. One night while on the phone, this was all before cell phones, he said he sent something to pay me a visit that night. Not taking him seriously at all, I laughed and was like, yeah, okay, whatever. We hung up the phone. I fell asleep. In the middle of the night while asleep, I started feeling the worst stomach cramps I've ever had. Tossing and turning, waking up and trying to go back to sleep, it would not go away unless I opened my eyes and sat up. I settled, trying to sleep, and then there was a whisper. It sounded like a man's voice saying, hey. It was right in my ear. I opened my eyes and looked around. Nothing. Closed my eyes again, drifted off, and again felt cramping to the point of sickness in my stomach as I heard another whisper that sounded like someone saying, wake up. I sat up. The sick feeling stopped. At this point, I'm fully freaked out. The whisper sounded like someone hovering over me. I pulled the covers over my head and just tried to lay still, pretending that I didn't exist, and that never happened. Minutes went by, and I thought everything was fine. Then suddenly something started tapping in my room, like someone was walking around my room, tapping things randomly. I'm not even ashamed to admit that I
Weird.
bolted from my bed,
That's
tore my
creepy.
bedroom door open, and ran out.
That's creepy.
Yeah, that is super creepy.
It's almost like something was bored.
Yeah. Or
Like,
that
hey,
he sent something.
Hey, wake
like
up.
Like,
And then it's walking around the room because you didn't wake up looking at stuff.
yeah. Yeah.
Which is still creepy. If I'm being honest.
More cool than creepy. When I was younger, we would always play hide and seek in the dark, but in the woods. One time I was hiding in a tree and I saw two kids walking on the path below me holding arms, a little girl and a little boy about the same age. They were both dressed in early 1920s styled clothes and just walking super calm as if they had nowhere to go. When I told my mom and described them, she mentioned seeing that same little boy multiple times as a child in her room. He would come out from her antique armoire and just sit at the end of her bed. That's creepy.
Okay.
Not sure about the little girl, but it's just fascinating and trippy even as a child. Just writing this gives me chills, but not in a bad way. They seem to be very relaxed and not worried about me at all, but I never saw them again. So that's weird. I'll preface this story by saying I'm not religious at all. I was raised Christian but left the faith when I was a teenager. When I was 20, I lived in a house with my boyfriend and another couple. It was a large 2-story home. One night, I remember the other girl saying she didn't like the stairs. She always felt things watching her from them. I told her I felt the same sometimes but never mentioned it because I figured it was just me being paranoid. Sometimes I would sit there late at night cooking or finishing homework or cleaning, and I swear out of the corner of my eye I would see shadows darting up and down the stairs. They never left the stairs though, only went up and down, and only when you weren't looking directly at the stairs. I pushed it all aside thinking I might be just paranoid. One day, my mom came to the house to help with something. My mom used to be Wiccan, and she always claimed to see weird things that she could never explain. She came into the house for the first time ever, paused with her face going white, and said, quote, "There's things on the stairs, isn't there? Don't worry, they can't cross into upstairs." I had never told her about what we saw, and her saying that made my blood run cold.
Weird.
She never wanted to go back to my house after that, and we ended up moving shortly after. Still can't explain those stairs or that house. So I'm only going to do, I think, one more. All right, maybe two more.
Make it a goodie.
Maybe two more. I like the last one. I'm going to do the last one because it's kind of weird. So second last one. I swear this is real. I was like 2 years old, but it's very engraved in my mind. I slept in a crib still next to my parents' bed, and at some point in the middle of the night, I would wake up and in front of me there was this completely black female figure. I thought it was my mom, and I even remember saying, "Are you my mom?" And that thing just looked at me, shook his head, and just stood there staring at me without doing anything in complete silence. This happened to me like 3 or 4 times. Although one time I remember most, I hugged the thing. I'm not sure why, because it looks so much like my mom. Although I've considered it, I don't think it's my mom because my mom's not the one to do jokes, much less that kind. And to this day, it still gives me a certain chill because I remember it very well, and I'm 100% sure it happened. Okay, I'm going to read this one just because this is weird to me. What was that noise?
Don't know.
A mimic?
That's really weird.
Yeah, that was weird. So this one I'm reading just because this was weird to me. Barely avoided a head-on collision 4 times, twice at the same location, but all 4 times while the same song was playing on the radio, not on a tape deck. I'm perfectly fine with anyone calling BS on this because honestly, I wouldn't believe it if someone told me this either. So please, if hating and doubting is all you have to write, just post an unhappy face. And then somebody asked him what the song was, and then he said, edit. The song is Reeling in the Years by Steely Dan. And this I put into the stories like 2 mornings ago. And I went to work that day, and I had to do a discharge clean in one of the wings, which I do when a resident leaves or passes away. But in this case, they went home. So I'm doing the discharge clean, and whenever I'm doing that, I put on their TV and put on the 70s music channel. And first song that came on when I turned it on was Reeling in the Years by Steely Dan.
Interesting
And then
synchronicity.
like that actually made me stop for a moment and be like, wow, that's really, really weird.
That's funny because I worked in hotels when I was like in college as a housekeeper, and we would always turn MTV on in every room we went in to clean so that we would have music on in the background.
Yep. So this is
Wasn't there a John Denver song always playing in Final Destination?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Colorado Rocky Mountain High. I think that was it.
Yeah. Let's see here. So this is the last story I'll do because I just think this one is weird. I was 3 years old and my sister was 5 years old. We woke up to a loud. Wow. We woke up to a loud, hard shuffling and thumping noises on our roof.
Ooh.
We wondered what the heck it
I
was.
just hit my face with the microphone, so if you hear a noise,
That's
that
what
was
that noise was?
Yeah.
We wondered what the heck the noise was. Then we noticed someone was in our living room. Our room was down a skinny hall, and from our room, we looked into the living room, and then we saw him. We saw a large man dressed in red with his back turned to us in the living room in front of our Christmas tree. He wasn't putting presents down, but he was sprinkling gold shimmering dust onto them. This was Santa Claus. He was dressed in his red and white suit, hat, white beard, everything. It was obvious who it was. It was weird, though. He looked like an old school movie projection with fuzzy edges and static like a ghost. We immediately looked in our parents' room. Our parents were asleep, and from our room down the hall, we could see them sleeping in bed because they had their door open. We even heard my dad snoring. Whatever this Santa Claus thing was, it stood up straight, turned around, looked right at us, and then went, shh. As he did that gesture, he disintegrated into that fine, weird, shimmering gold dust. Then we screamed bloody murder, ran into our parents' room, and woke them up. My dad, seeing how terrified we are, ran into the living room. The door was open. Eerily enough, there was wet snow on the living room floor. There were footprints in the snow. My dad, suspecting that my uncle was playing a Christmas trick on us, called my uncle angrily on the phone, asked him why he would do such a thing to scare us. My dad's phone call woke my uncle up. He was still asleep in his house. He had no idea what the heck my dad was talking about.
That's creepy.
My parents called the cops and everything. I still remember the police coming into our living room where they filed a police report. The cops didn't take my sister and I seriously at all until my dad showed them the snow and that there was a weird gold glitter all over the room. The hard thumping on the roof, I don't know what that was. I'm 32 now, and my sister is 34, and she remembers the morning we saw Santa Claus.
That is so
It was
weird.
downright chilling, and I can't believe that happened to us. Nothing paranormal has happened to me ever since that, but it was so freaky. So I don't know.
Part of me was like, I wonder if that's something residual, like somebody's uncle played Santa Claus, and it was like their favorite thing to do every year.
So,
they passed away, and it's
not 100%
replaying.
sure if I believe that
But
story,
the stuff
but
on
if
the
I
roof,
do,
yeah,
but the thing turning and going,
yeah, that's
putting its
creepy.
finger in front of its lips,
which
and
is
going,
very Santa Claus.
Yeah. So there you go, getting ready for
Wow.
some Christmas stuff
Yeah.
coming up. But there were some spooky stories. What'd you think?
I loved it.
Yeah,
I love reading.
I love
spooky
stories
stuff.
like that too.
Me too. True or not, it's entertainment.
Exactly.
Just in time for Halloween.
Exactly. So jump into our final 3 trivia questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, you guys ready? Like, if you're doing this and want to win, you kind of need to get these because all 3 of these are worth 30 points, which is a
Dang.
lot.
Yeah.
And again, this is my tribute to the KVSC trivia contest because I love it so much. So here are your last 3 questions. I will post these in the strangers group tomorrow, and then maybe like later this week, I'll see if I can post all of them. I just got a message.
It's probably Kayla. Dude, I'm hungry. Are you guys done yet?
Oh, it's from Miranda. I got okay. So yeah, if you're doing the trivia contest, you got to do these three. I think they're fun. I think they're difficult. I think that you can get them, but I think this first one I'm going to read is probably the most difficult. So are you ready? Mm-hmm. Here we go. Question 48, 30 points. During the KVSC trivia contest, the first question of every hour is traditionally very, very difficult, and you have 45 minutes to solve it. In the 2022 contest, question 1 of hour 24 was, quote, what is the full name of the literary character who played various daytime drama characters, including Mother Howard, Sister Beth, Nurse Jones, Sister Piety, and Mrs. Olson? Absolutely none of the trivia experts could find the answer, so none of the teams got any points for it. For 30 strange points, what is the correct answer to the question, and what is the title of the book it's from? Again, during the KVSC trivia contest, the first question for every hour is traditionally very, very difficult, and you have 45 minutes to solve it. In the 2022 contest, question 1 of hour 24 was, quote, what is the full name of the literary character who played various daytime drama characters, including Mother Howard, Sister Beth, Nurse Jones, Sister Piety, and Mrs. Olson? Absolutely none of the trivia experts could find the answer, so none of the teams got any points for it. For 30 strange points, what is the correct answer to the question, and what is the title of the book it's from? This might be the most difficult question of these three.
Okay.
Question number 49, 30 points. I personally, even though it make me sick or demented, I love the KVSC trivia questions that make you jump through multiple trivia hoops to solve them. This is one of those questions.
Like it's an onion layer of
yes,
trivia?
yeah, yep.
Okay.
This one, you basically have to figure out 3 different things. With over 200,000 of these things now all over the world, the first one originated in 2009 in the small town of Hudson, Wisconsin. One of these that is definitely not haunted can be located in a Nevada town that shares its name with the last name of an actor who portrayed a visiting chaplain in a 1975 episode of My Favorite Television Show, and who voiced a not-so-caring strawberry-scented bear in a 2010 movie. For 30 strange points, according to what is written on it, who is its sponsor? So that
was so many
you basically have to figure out you have to figure out what I'm talking about. You have to figure out who the actor is, and then you have to find out how to figure out who sponsors that.
Okay.
So
wow.
Here we go again. During the KVS, with over 200, question 49, 30 points. I love the KVSC questions that make you jump through multiple trivia hoops to solve them. This is one of those. With over 200,000 of these things now all over the world, the first one originated in 2009 in the small town of Hudson, Wisconsin. One of these that is definitely not haunted can be located in a Nevada town that shares its name with the last name of an actor who portrayed a visiting chaplain in a 1975 episode of My Favorite Show, and who voiced a not-so-caring strawberry-scented bear in a 2010 movie. For 30 strange points, according to what is written on it, who is its sponsor? So that's a toughie. And finally, number 50. Thank you guys so much for indulging me with my trivia contest. Number 50, our last question. 30 points. One of my favorite things about the KVSC contest is that every now and then it has hundreds of people all at the same time stalking some poor innocent random person online just to find a tidbit of information. It's just cool to me that this unsuspecting person never knows they were a part of something so fun. But sometimes they do, because we've crashed people's websites because you have everybody trying to go to this one website.
Yeah.
And we've had people message team members and be like, can I ask you a question? Or like, nobody comes to my webpage, but all of a sudden I had like 1,000 people all at this one time. Mm-hmm. So then we tell them what happened. But there's something so cool about that this person just has no idea.
Yeah.
This is one of those questions. Graduating in 2012 from a college whose 4-word motto is Latin for the phrase, quote, from the hand to the hand, her best friends are Chrissy and Reese, Chrisssy, and Reese is Reese. The very first sentence of her future plans contains 2 very good pieces of advice. For 30 strange points, what are they? Again, graduating, question 50. 30 points. One of my favorite things about the KVSC contest is that every now and then it has hundreds of people all at the same time stalking some poor innocent random person online just to find a tidbit of information. It's just cool to me that this unsuspecting person never knows they were part of something so fun. Here's one of those. Graduating in 2012 from a college whose 4-word motto is Latin for the phrase, quote, from the hand to the hand. Her best friends are Chrissy and Reese. The first sentence of her future plans contains 2 very good pieces of advice. For 30 strange points, what are they? So there you go.
So you're looking for a yearbook, probably.
Don't be giving them any pointers. But yeah, so there you go. There are our trivia like, if you guys did this, like, do you want me to do this again next season? Let me know if you like this or you want us to go back. I don't want to do songs again because I'm kind of running out of songs to suggest. But if you guys like this, let me know if there's something we could have done differently, made it easier. I don't know if I could make it tougher because there's some tough questions in there.
I actually miss people asking us questions.
I have some stockpiled for next episode because now that we won't be doing the trivia contest, we'll have time.
Something at the
so
end.
I have some questions for the next couple episodes, actually. So we're good with that.
Sweet.
So I'll tell you the answers to these after we're done, but I will post these in the group tomorrow, and you have exactly 2 weeks and 3 hours to answer. So 6 a.m. on the next morning we record. I'm going to post these tomorrow, and then I'm going to try to post all the questions. But thank you guys so much for indulging me with this because I had way more fun. Like, I like the idea of me doing a contest or a podcast that's just the trivia. But there would have to be like a big cash prize.
Something.
Too. And I think it would be a lot of drama where people would think that I'm like favoring people. So but I just really like doing this. So there you go. Oh, and I don't have my deets.
I don't think it has to be a cash prize.
No. We're still figuring out what you guys are getting for prizes from this.
Yeah.
Winner gets Krista's address, I guess. I don't know. We'll come up with something.
Probably some merch that we're just trying to get rid of.
Yeah, probably that. I got some gift cards that we're giving them. Assuming they're in the United States, because they might not be.
Yeah, that might be
There's 2 people that I can think of that I think it might be one of them that wins because based on, unless there's a lot of people that are keeping their answers, but there's 2 people that have done really well. So you can email us at thestrangesessions@gmail.com. We are on Instagram where Krista does a great job at The Strange Sessions. We haven't gotten any mail in a long time. No. You can send postcards and snail mail to The Strange Sessions at P.O. Box 434, Manitowoc, Wisconsin, 54221-0434. You can call our lonely phone line, and somebody called and left a message, and I totally didn't remember it until this point, so I will play it in the next episode. Okay. It might have been a story, too.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, but I'll play it in the next episode. You can call that number at 920-443-9602, and you can send listener stories to thestrangesessionsstories@gmail.com. We got a couple questions sent there, too, I think, so I got some of those.
Cool.
And I think that's it.
All right. Let's go eat some breakfast.
We're going to go eat some breakfast with Kayla. Love you, Kayla. I can't think of anything else. Hopefully you guys like the stories. Anytime I'm reading Reddit, I'd like, ooh, save that. And then I put it into the notes for future stories episodes. So I think that's it. Anything else you want to say to our listeners?
I don't think so. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. I hope it's spooky, but not like mimic spooky.
Yeah,
but I hope
no mimics or doppelgangers. Thank you very much.
I hope it's spooky. So we love you guys. Thank you so much. And until next time, stay strange.